Hello everyone. This video was made to fulfill the final semester exam of the ELT Curriculum course. So I will explain 5 topics about the material I have learned in this class, and then I will answer 3 questions that given by Mem Dwi. Okay, so first is 5 topics that I have learned in this class is oral approach and 1968 and 1975 curriculum, and then audiolingual 1968 and 1975 curriculum, and then CLT approach and communicative method in curriculum 1984, and then curriculum 2004 and competency based, and curriculum 2013 and character building. Now let's start to the first topic is oral approach in 1968 and 1975. So, the oral approach, also called situational language learning, relies on the use of situations to teach language. A situation is the use of such as pictures, objects, and or layout to teach. Students are expected to listen and repeat what the instructor says. This means that students have little control over content. The lessons are highly teacher-centered, and the teacher is extremely active with timing, reviewing, testing, etc. The ultimate goal is to have the students use the language in non-structured real-life settings. And then the characteristic is vocabulary is seen as a way for developing reading skills in this approach. The oral approach stipulates a list of 2,000 words essential for reading comprehension, and then grammar. In terms of grammar, it is not the same as the grammar translation method, which stress universal grammar. Rather, in the oral approach, it is the patterns of the sentences that matter, such as subject, verb, object. Students learn the structures in order to use and understand the language. Next is curriculum. There are 3 main elements to curriculum development in oral approach: selection, gradation, and presentation. Selection is the choosing of content, gradation is the process of organizing the curriculum, and presentation is the instructional component. Next is audiolingual method in 1968 and 1975 curricula. Audiolingual method is a method for foreign language teaching which emphasizes the teaching of listening and speaking before reading and writing. In the audiolingual method, the students first hear a language, later they speak the language, and after that they read and write in it. Mother tongue is discouraged in the classroom when this method is used. The audiolingual method does not learn lots of vocabulary. Rather, the teacher drills speaking and grammar because in this method, grammar is most important for the student. In other words, the student must repeat the grammar pattern after the teacher. The general goal of the audiolingual method is to enable the target language communicatively. There are 2 objectives in the audiolingual method, such as short-range objectives, include training in listening comprehension and accurate pronunciation, and then long-range objectives, or the ultimate goal is to develop the student's abilities the same like what native speakers have, to use it automatically without stopping to think. Next is CLT Approach and Communicative Method in Curriculum 1984. So, CLT approach is a teaching approach that emphasizes communicative competence and interaction. It replaces situational language teachings, which focus on teaching basic language structure. In the 1960s, educators realized that situational learning was insufficient for teaching meaning, as it lacked the ability to express the intention of the speaker or writer. CLT focused on understanding the meaning conveyed through utterance rather than situationally learned. The communicative method, often referred to as the communicative approach, is an approach to teaching language that places a strong emphasis on communication and interaction as the primary goals of language learning. This method is particularly relevant to teaching English as second or foreign language, but can be applied to the teaching of other languages as well. This method promotes language learning in context. Learners are encouraged to use language in meaningful situations such as discussion, role plays, and problem-solving tasks to mimic real-life language use. The goal of communicative method is to develop learners' competence in communicating with the target language in real communicative context or in real life situation. This goal is not emphasized on the mastery of grammar or the ability to make grammatical sentences, but rather on the ability to produce contextually appropriate speech. The communicative method aims to prepare learners for real-world language use, where effective communication often goes beyond just knowing grammar rules. Next is Curriculum 2004 and Competency-Based. Competency-based curriculum is the national standard and compulsory curriculum used by all schools in Indonesia. It was introduced in 2001 but was officially implemented in 2004 after it underwent some renewal processes. The purpose of this curriculum is to achieve one main competency, namely discourse competence for communicative purposes. It was developed together with other competencies such as linguistic competence, actional competence, social cultural competence, and strategic competence. There are some criteria of competency-based curriculum implementation, for example, standard competency, basic competency, and some indicators related to English lessons. There are three main principles underlying this curriculum, namely model of competence, model of language, and level of literacy. The curriculum includes teaching materials given to students through the learning process. Learning process carried out by using the principles of learning that includes development of material selection, strategy, media assessment, and resources or learning materials. The level of success achieved by students' learning can be seen in the ability of students in completing the tasks that must be controlled in accordance with certain procedure standards. Next is Curriculum 2013 and character building. The 2013 curriculum was a curriculum of value which was occupied by character building. The implementation of the 2013 curriculum was independent so that learners would increase and use their knowledge, assess the value of character and good morality in order. They will exhibit positive attitudes in their daily behavior. The objectives of the 2013 curriculum were preparing the students at schools to be able to live as a faithful, productive, innovative, creative, effective, and contributive citizen in the life of the society, nation, state, and also civilization. The principle of the delivering process in the curriculum 2013 implementation were from learners being told to the learners being encouraged to seek out from the teacher as the only one source of learning into a variety of learning-based resources, from the textual approach learning towards strengthening the use of the learning process as a scientific approach, from the content-based learning toward the competency-based learning, and learning by utilizing information and communication technologies to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of learning. Next is three questions that given by Mingui. First question is compare curriculum 2006 and curriculum 2013. Analyze the two curricula and identify similarities and differences between the two curricula and explain why curriculum 2006 was replaced by curriculum 2013. So, the difference between the KTSP curriculum and K13 is very striking. KTSP is a curriculum that reflects knowledge, skills, and attitudes that revert to educational concepts proposed by Bloom, which can increase the potential of learners optimally. The K13 emphasized the shift in evaluation from the evaluation through the test toward authentic evaluation. One emphasis in the K13 is authentic evaluation. Authentic evaluation is the activity of assessing the students who emphasize what should be assessed, but process and outcome with various evaluation instruments that are fixed to the competencies in standard competence or core competence and basic competence. The K13 emphasized students to be able to better observe, ask, reason, and communicate what students get during learning materials. While the KTSP curriculum, students are given material by the teacher continuously, which makes students less active and do not have critical thinking. This curriculum change is also a preparation for students in facing the rapid development of the time so that students can compete in the future. In addition to the previous problems, there are still many things that underlie the change in the KTSP curriculum to the K13. One of which is that the KTSP is not yet sensitive and responsive to social change that occur at the local, national, and global levels. And then Question 2. In the 1980s up to now, communicative language teaching has been claimed to be used in teaching English in Indonesia. Why can CLT stand for a long period of time, and how has CLT developed since then? CLT has been used in English language education in Indonesia since the 1980s and continues to be relevant for several reasons. First, CLT focuses on practical communication, teaching students to use English in real-life situations rather than just memorizing grammar rules. This emphasis on communication aligns with the needs of learners who want to use English in their daily lives. Second, CLT promotes a student-centered approach, encouraging active participation and collaboration. Learners are not just passive recipients of information. They actively engage in language activities, encouraging a deeper understanding. Over time, CLT has evolved by integrating more learner autonomy, cultural sensitivity, and the use of technology in language learning. It also incorporates task-based language teaching, which emphasizes learning through meaningful tasks. The continuous professional development of language educators ensure that CLT stays dynamic and responsive to the changing landscape of language education. And then, next question is explain curriculum 1975, 1984, and 1994 and how they are similar and different from each other. Among these curricula, which one is the best? The Indonesian education system has undergone significant change through various curricula, including the 1975, 1984, and 1994 version. The 1975 curriculum, known as Curriculum 1975, reflected a centralized and uniform approach aiming to um, provide a standardized educational experience across the country. In contrast, the 1984 curriculum introduced modification by placing increased emphasis on vocational and technical education alongside traditional academic subjects. The 1994 curriculum marked a notable shift towards decentralization, allowing more autonomy for school and local authorities. And then the similarities and differences. First is centralization versus decentralization. The 1975 curriculum was highly centralized, with a uniform approach to education. In contrast, the 1994 curriculum introduced decentralization, allowing more flexibility at the local level. And then next is emphasis on workforce skills. Both the 1984 and 1994 curricula recognize the importance of vocational and practical skills in preparing students for the workforce. Next is flexibility. The 1994 curriculum introduced greater flexibility, allowing schools more autonomy in designing their educational program. Determining the best curriculum depends on various factors, including educational goals, social needs, and the effectiveness of implementation. Each curriculum has its strength and weakness, and opinions on which is the best may vary. The 1994 curriculum was designed to be more flexible and responsive to local needs, but its success depends on effective implementation and adaptation at the regional level. The effectiveness of a curriculum is often influenced by how well it aligns with the educational goals of a particular time and place. So, this is the end of my video. I hope what I have explained is understandable and that everyone who watched this stays well. Thank you.